So I tried doing this video like 5 different times. It's not working. I don't like the outcome, so I'm gonna keep this video nice and simple. So I recently came back from vacation. I went to North Carolina from Florida, and I brought this phone along with me. And listen, I already said it in my first video. I knew for a fact I was going to love this phone, and I still do. When I went on vacation, I also brought my laptop with me, but I never even took it out of the car. See, everything that I needed to do, I could easily do from the Galaxy Z Fold 2. If I wanted to connect to the internet, which I did actually, I used Samsung DeX because the Airbnb that I was at had a TV that was capable of casting. And then in the mornings, I used this kind of to catch up on my YouTube subscriptions. I just simply left it, opened this thing up, leaned it up against something, and I was watching my YouTube while drinking my coffee, eating my breakfast. And then on the couch as well, I had this thing open, scrolling through the internet, playing games. It's a very comfortable phone. The more you use it, the more you become trustworthy with it. I took amazing photos with this phone. I mean, yeah, of course, it's not going to be the best of the best because that still belongs to the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, but this phone does still take insane photos, especially this new upgraded hinge. So you can pretty much have this phone, on something, and you can kind of angle the hinge any way you want to get a nice stable shot so you don't introduce a lot of handshakes to your photos. Nice. Should you buy it? Yes. I mean, listen, I still stand for what I said in my first video. This phone is a phone. This phone is a tablet. This phone is a mini Chromebook PC if you connect it to DeX via wireless now. You don't even need a wire. And if you pair up your Xbox controller, or actually really any controller, you can play Xbox Game Pass games on this phone. It's basically a 4-in-1 if you use everything that I just said. If you don't use a lot of what I just said, this phone is not worth it, obviously. Man, it just got dark really quickly. Did you guys see the lighting change in this room? Is it the end of the world? It is 2020, so that's a possibility. The one thing I don't like about this phone, and kind of not that big of a deal, actually, I dropped the phone, so it is kind of a big deal, but I dropped the phone because this entire side of how you're going to be opening up the phone is very smooth. So if you sweat, everyone sweats. But what I meant was if you sweat and the phone will get a very slippery. And the reason I dropped this phone is because when I was trying to open it, my thumb slipped off. I mean, this is even right now, it's slipping off no problem. I tried opening up the phone, it didn't work. My thumb slipped, the phone fell face down onto tile. It didn't crack, thank God. But that's really my only complaint about the phone. I just wish they added some sort of crease or bevel to help you open up the phone, because the hinge, while it's good, it's way better than the first generation Galaxy Fold. The hinge does take a little bit more pressure to open, not like the first Galaxy Fold. The first Galaxy Fold, you can pretty much stick your thumb in between the two screens and kind of plop it open, and it will open. This one, not so much. Now you guys might be asking yourself, well, Mark, this phone isn't really meant for the average consumer, so it's not fair to really talk to the average consumer about this phone. And that's not true. I've had a few people message me on Twitter, just average people, that tell me that they got this phone and they love it. So just because you're not a tech geek doesn't mean you might not get this phone. So if you are thinking about getting it, I say get it. You have 2 weeks to return it if you bought from Samsung. If you bought from a place like Amazon, I think you have a month to return it. So you can comfortably use the phone for a month. You can feel it out, test everything you want out. If you don't like it, return it. But I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. The battery life, also fantastic. Very weird, by the way, but the battery life on this phone, for me, just for the way I use the phone, was actually better than the Note 20 Ultra that I had. The front display is so fantastic that you actually use this just as much as the inside display, if not more. So by using this display, you're obviously going to be saving a pretty decent amount of battery life. And yeah, I can comfortably use this phone longer than the Note 20 Ultra. I'm getting about 6.5 hours, up to 7 hours. I've had one day of 7 hours, and that is fantastic for a multimedia phone like this. So guys, that's pretty much it. After 2 weeks of using this phone, I completely love it. I still haven't changed my mind about it. this phone is the phone to get if you want a kind of all-around great device. There's not much wrong with the phone. I mean, yeah, okay, fine. I could say that the inside display is so fragile that it comes with 2 warnings. When you first unbox the phone, you'll get like a little plastic layer that says, oh, warning, well, you can't do this. And then when you first boot the phone up, there's another warning. So if you drag your thumbnail from the screen, you're gonna scratch it. I could say that that's a big downside, but that would mean that I'm implying that there's something better out there. And if you want a full display in a foldable, there isn't anything better out there. This is it right here. So I could complain about that, but I'm not gonna. If you guys are wondering about getting this phone and you want to ask me some questions, leave them down below or follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, and ask them there. I will be sure to answer as many people as I can. That's all I gotta say. This phone's fantastic. This was Mark from Mark's Tech. Adios.